Hello and a warm welcome to Chang International Circuit at Buriram, as it's known, here in northern Thailand, northeast Thailand, and quite a long way from Bangkok, the main city here, but this is a city in itself with the #1 soccer team and also Thailand's #1 circuit, connected in fact almost umbilically by a few meters. And this is the circuit for round 3 and 4, and it's almost brand new. We came here last year, and certainly Thailand really enjoying a resurgence in their touring cars, and now with the emergence of the all-new TCR Asia, and in fact TCR round the world. We take a look at the grid for the first time. Jonathan Green and Steve Martin bringing you the action, and we look at Jack Lembard, who starts for Vitana Motorsport and one of the favourites. He's in fact a wildcard entry for TCR Asia, so he's got plans to join the series soon. And he'll be up against one of the series favourites, Andy Yan, for the Liqui Moly Ensler team. Volkswagen Golf GTI. Several manufacturers involved, including Honda, Golf, and Volkswagen, as we see here. Seat as well. And good sponsorship. And Steve Martin, a beautiful day and a good field. We've got a combination of TCR Asia and a combination of the Thai TCR Championship. And Jack Lembard already proving that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with here.
Absolutely, Jonathan, and that is the concept behind this TCR series, which is run around the world in different countries, that you can come to a country like Thailand and bring the Asian Championship, and the Thai drivers can join in because the rules, of course, are pretty much the same. They're exactly the same, and that concept works all over the world. You can take your car to Europe and race in the European series, or even stay here in Asia, and that is, it's a real good growing concept. When you consider how new the TCR concept is, it's certainly growing. It's just about had its first year birthday now, about a year old, but there's cars and series popping up all over the world. So we've got a big field of cars here this weekend at Buriram at the Chang International Circuit, and as we've seen, the Thai drivers are certainly going to be up near the front for this one.
Well, of course, it's a Thai driver who leads the championship at the moment after 2 rounds in Korea. As we look at Kevin Say, the Macau driver, he's also in a Golf. Yeah, Tin Sritrai, we'll get to his story in a moment. We'll see him, I'm sure, in a moment. But he leads the championship at the moment with 42 points, just 1 ahead of Roloff Bruins, who isn't racing this weekend. In fact, he's coaching. He's here this weekend. I've seen him. But the Korean, who did so well, of course, in Korea, it was only a one-off drive. In fact, he wasn't expecting to drive. In fact, he's basically doing driver coaching, looking after Douglas Koo this weekend. So that gives Tin Sritrai an opportunity to go well. But that said, Tin Sritrai, who will be favourite, certainly coming into this weekend, has already had an engine change on his Honda Civic, so not the best of starts.
No, bad news for Sritrai. Unfortunately, he was right up there all throughout practice, up near the front, but when it came to that all-important qualifying, and I must stress, we've had very hot conditions all weekend here at the circuit. He had a problem with part of the fuel pump that fell off of the car and fell inside the engine and destroyed his engine just before qualifying. So the team managed to get an engine fitted, but they missed qualifying, so poor old Tin Sritrai will be starting from the back of the grid. So that's going to be very exciting to watch him make his way through to the front.
You can see they've got the doors open. It's mid-morning here, but already very hot indeed. Championship after 2 rounds then. Andy Yan with 44 points, Tin Sritrai with 42, Bruins with 41 points, Kevin Say, Henry Ho, a host of Macau drivers, Philip de Souza, and we've got a new one as well coming in, Enrico de Jesus this weekend, Michael Ho, and those that know their touring car championships will know the names of Henry Ho and Michael Ho, 2 Macau drivers who have had huge success both in the Asian Touring Car Championship and the China Touring Car Championship. But when it comes to Thais, don't look any further than Jack Lembard. He's raced around Asia and certainly here in Asia. In fact, he was in the TCR the TCR Thailand Championship. And as you can see, starts on the front row. Here's your grid then. Andy Yan and the Liqui Moly team starts on pole position on the right-hand side of your screen there. It's a standing start, and Nanasak Iritapong for Vitana Motorsport starts third ahead of Philip de Souza in the second of the Ensler cars. Kevin Say and Hanjit Kasam, also of Thailand, will start 6th place. Patapat Burpon is in 7th place. Then Douglas Koo, the man I mentioned earlier, in the Viper Nissan team. Henry Ho not get the best of qualifying. He's in the Chat Motorsport car down in 9th position, ahead of Kenneth Marr for Roadstar. Terence Say for Roadstar, and Bill O'Brien, the affable American, will start at the back. And Tin Shi Trai, the man who is in the contenders for the championship early on in this series, at the back with that engine change. And I haven't seen him yet physically. I hope he's out there, but that would be disaster for Tin if he isn't out there, because they've worked all night. No, there he is at the back. Good to see. Parents are here. Still got the sponsorship from PTT. He's been sponsored by them for quite some time, in fact. So he's a bit of a hero here in Thailand, and it's going to be an interesting battle to see if he can come through from the back. It's possible, though.
It is possible, Jonathan, but in qualifying we saw lap record pace by the guys up the front. Andy Yan did a low 45, and the race lap record is 45.040. So if they can run that pace in the race, especially in these hotter conditions that lap record was set back in October, that's just a testament to the way that this championship has come on and the drivers have come on. It really is, a championship that helps the driver develop, and we can see that when it comes on to the race.
Another thing hampering Tin Sri Trai will be the balance of performance. It's also a factor in this series. Perhaps you could explain the success ballast that he's dealing with. I think it's 30k, even though he's at the back.
Yeah, obviously, because he was the winner last time out, he has to have an extra 30 kilograms fitted to his car, which is a success ballast. In one way, it's great to win, but it makes it harder to win next time out. So starting from the back of the grid with 30 kilograms more than the other drivers is going to be a big ask. But we saw the talent of the young driver at Korea, and he really... I think he's going to be good for a podium. Whether he can win the race, it's a big ask, but I think that we should see him make his way through to a podium. But the other thing we need to remember, Jonathan, is that engine hasn't been tested. There was no morning warm-up. The engine was fitted last night.
Yes, good point.
Yes, they have been able to run it in the pits and make sure it's okay, but it's one thing running it in the pits, another to get it out there and go straight into a race. So the team and everybody have got their fingers crossed for the imminent start here today.
Well, as they come round to complete the grid, I'm looking down at the qualifying session last night that was held in cooler conditions than they are right now, but 145.1 was the pole position, and 145.7 down to 5th place Souza. The top 5 all split between less than a second, so it does bode well for a good race this afternoon. There'll be a reverse grid for the second race. That'll be later in the day. We welcome you viewers around the world to TCR Asia. Just starting out, we had a race for TCR Thailand here a few weeks ago. Jack Lembard, the man we mentioned, who was on the front row, was runner-up to Carlo Van Dam, of course, who will be in GT Asia action later today, the Dutchman. So then, what can Andy Yan do? He's got a great opportunity to take the championship lead, especially with Sri Trai at the back. Will the Thai come through, though? Race 1. Out go the lights. Good start in the midfield. Not a good start from Andy Yan at all.
Jack Lembard got the whole shot there and leads into turn 1.
And also a good start by number 13, Iritapong. So the two Thais lead the way.
Yeah, you've got to think that they really do know their way around this circuit. They've had some on-track action here earlier in the month, as you mentioned, a couple of races already, so they certainly know the line into turn 1.
Iritapong also drove a Lamborghini here last year, so he's also familiar with the Buriram circuit. Into turn 2.
Up the inside.
Nicely done. Gets locked up on the brakes there. Sends
Lambard
fellow wide. Yeah, Lambard going very wide there and losing out several places. He will not be happy about that. But through goes the number 44, Jack Lambard. And it was Iritapong, in fact, who was sent wide in the number 13. He's the one dropped to 4th position in the 13, of course, they're both in the grey Vitana cars. But number 3, no question about that, is Andy Yan of the Liqui team Ensla.
Funny little story, Lembard actually had pole position for this race, but he exceeded track limits and was dropped back to second. His fastest lap of the qualifying session was disqualified, so he had to start from second, but that doesn't matter now. He's leading this race.
Yeah, it's almost immaterial, but yeah, it was a good qualifying session. It was a confusing qualifying session last night because the rain started to pour in dribs and drabs. We weren't sure whether it was going to be a full-on wet situation. Several cars getting caught out with a few spins, but luckily Jack Lambard was where he needed to be, and even though that time was deleted for his pole time, he still was right up there. They are about to complete the first lap now. They come through the S's down towards this very crucial corner. The last corner on the track is a very tight right-hander, almost over 90 degrees as they come into this. Crucial corner though, and a good line from the Lensler team as they cross the line and past our commentary position, heating up nicely.
Yeah, Andy Yan's doing a good job. He's hanging right onto the back now and almost ranging up the outside into turn one, but he can't do it. Jack Lemvard just holds that tight in a line onto the back straight. A kilometre along this back straight, Jonathan, 4.5 kilometres with 12 turns this circuit. A lot of overtaking opportunities and slipstreaming opportunities, especially down this long back straight.
Field not spreading out too much. Souza in 5th place, just watching him, just ahead of Bull Pong. And Douglas Koo in 7th position.
Look at Kevin C as well, just there in the Revo car, just in 3rd spot at the moment. He's right on the back now. If anything, he's closed the gap up to Andy Yan.
Andy Yan's going for that overtake. This is a long straight down here, and then we get into this fast section here, the infield section, fast through here, flat out through there, then hard on the anchors again, into this left-hander.
Lemvard's driving very, just closing the lines off, not letting anyone get through defensively at the moment is Lemvard. He knows his mirrors are full of cars. We've already got someone in. That's Tin Shitrai.
I was about to say, I wondered where he'd gone. More problems then, as you said earlier. They didn't test the engine. It was straight into the car overnight last night. We watched them at about, what, 7:30 last night, still putting it in, and obviously no time to test. They've done a warm-up lap, but it's come to naught. And so that's disaster for the young Thai driver, just 27 years of age. And Tin Shitrai was hoping to try and get out there, but sadly it's come to naught, and hopefully he'll have the rest of the day to get fixed and hopefully get out for the second race. But he will not factor in this, and that's going to dramatically change in the early stages of this series, the championship phase. Lemvard then leads from Yan. Yan not yet getting by.
If anything, Lemvard's just opened out a little bit of a lead. Although in the slipstream, once again, Andy Yan closes that gap up. There's only half a second in it. The first, from a standing start, 48.0.
I was wondering who made that lunge. It was number 77, and that was Bull Pong for the Sloth Racing. Well, he ain't Sloth Racing may be, but he's not going so slow.
No, he certainly knows how to drive that car around the circuit. And once again, another one of the drivers. Look at Lemvard there. He certainly is driving so defensively.
Well, he's got Yan on almost as a passenger in the boot right now, pushing him along. And as these two battle, actually, it's creating a 4-way battle, because now joining at the back is Iritapong in 4th position. So the man who was 2nd place at the start of this race has managed to catch up, and I think that's mainly due to the fact that Andy Yan is in an almighty battle with Jack Lemvard, who will not give up. The tall, lean figure, fun character, Jack. I've known him for a few years. He's raced in all sorts of different cars as Jack, but mainly here in Thailand. Whoa, a little bit of a touch there by Iritapong. I just saw off camera as they went past our commentary position, because this track, we can actually see outside our commentary position, the whole track, and I watched Iritapong moving up to 3rd place, but he almost bashed in the number 8 there as he went past, and Iritapong and Kevin Say having a great battle.
Lemvard driving defensively, especially at the end of that back straight, is the right thing to do for him, because he knows that there's a big slipstream opportunity there, and he doesn't want anyone to dive up the inside, so he'll be very defensive into turn 2, but the rest of the track he's trying as hard as he can to use all the lines to break the field up a little bit. The last thing he wants is 4 or 5 cars to be with him on the last lap coming into turn 12.
13 laps to go. TCR Asia, Jonathan Green and Steve Martin bringing you the action from the Buriram circuit, and more battles at the midfield here. Car number 88, Henry Ho making up a place.
Just saw Philip de Souza there back in the field a little bit. He sits in 6th position at the moment. He qualified 5th, so he's battling in those minor positions at the moment.
Henry Ho, another experienced campaigner, has been racing in Asia a long time in all sorts of different cars. He too from Macau, and got bags of experience. That's what I like about this field, is we've got some youngsters coming through, but we've also got some big experience from Asian touring cars, China touring cars, and of course Thai touring cars. Andy Yan, likewise, is another man with plenty of experience, but he can't get past Jack right now.
Well, he's trying.
Look at this, he's pushing him.
He can't get up the inside there because Jack is really, look how defensive he is.
That's good driving by Jack.
Well, it is. It's definitely not the fastest way around the circuit.
But Iritipong, it's playing into his hands, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's closing the field right up. I mean, perhaps Lemvard, I mean, he has to do it because Andy can nip up the inside at any point, and if he leaves the door open, because Andy's so close, he can get half a car length next to him, but because he's driving so defensively, there's nothing that he can do about it. He can't get through. Here he's on the back now, gives him a little tap, tries to go to the left, to the right.
You know,
there's the tap.
Yeah, both of them are going to have to be careful because, you know, there's rules to how many times you can weave defensively. So
well, Jack's already been in trouble once this weekend for exceeding the track limits, and he's certainly not on the ideal racing line at the moment.
They cross the line again then, and let's take a look at the lap times. Last lap at 1:48.2 by Lemvard, 1:48.0. So Jan definitely.
Oh, he's through.
Oh, he's through. No, that's in fact that's that battle in the midfield. Bulpar, Suzanne Say.
I mean, what a battle this is too. I mean, look at these guys. There's the number 26, of course, of Philip de Souza. He's leading that battle at the moment. We saw Douglas.
Now, Jan is through now, or at least they're side by side as they head down towards turn 2.
Yeah.
He's got the better line as Andy Jan. Who's going to break latest though?
Well,
Jan does so and takes the lead.
Yeah, that's a great move by Jan, and he had to get it done. He just got a better drive out of turn 1 and put that nose in front halfway up the straight, which allowed him to get into the corner first.
Well, the Jan Cap enjoying this.
Well, it's one thing to be in front, Jonathan, but this track does lend itself, and especially in this TCR class, to slipstreaming. Now, what can Jack Lemvard do? Can he hold the line now that he'll start taking more racing lines? And you can already see that he's changed. The wheels are coming off the ground now. They're starting to get serious.
Jan Chukwai, Andy Jan as they know him. Bags of experience, over 20 years of racing. Started in karting back in 1997 and took his first touring car race in 2003. So he's been racing these sorts of cars for a long, long time.
You mentioned it earlier as well. It's not the first meeting of the year. Here we go. Here's the overtaking manoeuvre. Andy Jan's already got a good drive out of turn 1 up the straight. He's next to Jack Lemvard now. Not a lot Jack can do. He can't turn in there. He'll definitely get a penalty. So he just has to. He's been hung out to dry, and Andy Jan's through.
Yeah, like you say, they've already had a TCR Thailand race here a few weeks ago.
They had some pretty hot competition in that with Carlo Van Dam driving and winning both the races. So Lemvard is no stranger to some stiff competition in this class.
10 laps to go then. 2 races this weekend for rounds 3 and 4 of the TCR Asia Series. Henry Ho moving up to 6th place. He started 8th. And he is the man on the move. 1:49.1 by him last time. He's not on the pace, to be fair, given that Andy Jan last time out did a 1:46.9.
No, the lap times are quite slow. There's
Bullpon making a mistake.
Yep.
And he's dropped. In fact, Bullpon was up to 4th at one point. He's now dropped to 9th after that mistake.
Yeah, well, the field is so tight here that you just can't afford to make a mistake like that. I mean, look at that group of guys there. How close are they at the front?
You're looking at Thailand's only Grade 1 circuit. They're very proud of this facility, and they should be. It's absolutely magnificent. We are high atop the main grandstand, which fits over 10,000 fans in, and we're hoping for it to fill up this afternoon for the big main race of the day, the GT Asia Series, and of course 2 races for TCR as well. Jan Lemvard, Narasak in 3rd place, Kevin Say still holding on to this group in 4th position. Then there's a gap to Philip de Souza of Macau and Henry Ho as they battle out with the local man and Jit Kassam.
Andy Jan's really starting to put in some consistency now. Smooth. He's a little bit less pressure from Jack Lemvard. Is letting him get on with the business of actually driving the car smoothly. And that's how you get around this circuit fast, Jonathan. You have to be smooth. If you overdrive the car here, you can lose up to half a second a lap, especially through the midsections, turn 5, 6, 7, through to turn 10.
Here's the Honda Civic of Henry Ho, and it's interesting, having spent so many years at Macau, myself, I know how popular that Honda Civic is. If you ever watch the CTM Cup, which Henry Ho has been a part of and a winner of, or at least a runner-up in many a time, you know that the Honda Civic is the weapon of choice, certainly amongst the Hong Kong touring car boys and Macau touring car boys. But it's interesting to see Seat and Volkswagen making their way now as part of this new era for TCR. And as you mentioned earlier, there are championships springing up all around the world. There is TCR International, where the likes of Morbidelli and some of the big stars of touring cars are now taking part on the international scene. They are heavily into their season. We're just beginning here in Asia, but several rounds already in to the TCR international team, and Seat up there, Honda up there, and it's going to be an interesting battle right across the world.
Lots of other manufacturers are looking to be involved in the championship as well. There's rumours that Ford are joining the championship.
Well, it's not a rumour. Yeah, in fact, Michael Ho is out there at the moment. Will be coming back with the Ford. Kenneth Marr, excuse me, will be coming back with the Ford. They made an attempt last year. It just didn't work out. Here's another look at the start. It was a heck of a start from the number 65. He did get away, 66, excuse me. And Jikassam really got off the line quickly, but I think it was more due to the fact that the man in front of him was a little slow off the line. So maybe 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, Jack Landvaart really got the jump, and Andy Yan a little bit of a fail, but back to third place for him off the start. Certainly didn't get that Volkswagen Golf off the start, but he's certainly driving it well now.
Well, those of you who know your touring cars will know the famous colours of Liqui Moly and Ensler. I think Jack Landvaart actually drove for this team back in the day in a touring car as well. But yeah, they're very famous colours here in Asia. Franz Ensler himself was a big proponent of BMW in touring cars here in Asia, and a multiple champion. Gone are those days where they literally marauded around Asia, total dominance, and we might see something similar if Andy Yan gets it all together as he's doing so here in Thailand.
Of course, the technical specs of these cars, Jonathan, they're quite standard, pretty much standard engines. 2-litre turbocharged, have to be 4-door, and you know, they're a good little racing car.
Yeah, it's funny because they obviously are a production silhouette. You can recognise the cars that you drive on the road, but they're pretty trick inside. I mean, some of them with sequential gearboxes, and they really are with the ECUs and the displays and stuff there. For a guy starting out in touring cars, it's a very sophisticated piece of machine.
Well, it's a great grounding because they don't cost a lot to run because the engines are so standard. They put out enough horsepower, about 300 horsepower, which is enough to get the car moving around, and they're still quite fast. They can cut a good lap time, but everything that you need to be adjustable is adjustable. And on top of that, they've got all the latest safety equipment on board.
Somebody just going wide there. Just wanted to check out of the window. Somebody going very wide at turn 5, but gathering it all together. There it was. It was the number 65 of Douglas Koo. Yeah. Now he's getting help from the man who won in Korea.
Yeah, Roloff Bruins. I wonder what he's thinking sitting on the sidelines at the moment.
Don't do that, Douglas, is what you're saying.
No, I bet he's got itchy feet because I'm sure that he'd want to be out there mixing it up with these guys. He had a great run in Korea, a win and a second place, I think, but he surely would have been up the front if he was out there racing against his field today.
Well, he's got Terence Say from the Roadstar Racing team in the Seat right there with him, the Hong Kong driver. Very tight indeed between these two. They cross the line together.
So they head into turn 1. Of course, the number 65. That's the battle for 9th and 10th position at the moment as they head down the back straight. Someone wide there in the background.
Keeping an eye on Kevin Say as well, because the Macau driver leading the amateur drivers classification after the first 2 rounds. He's got just 1 point ahead of Michael Ho. And Terence Say, the man you were just looking at, 3rd in that amateur trophy.
Yeah, of course, we've got 3 championships going on within the race at the moment. There's the Drivers' Championship, there's the Amateur Championship.
And the teams.
And the Team Championship as well. And the Liqui Moly team is leading that at the moment with 55 points. So Liqui Moly here in a big way.
Yeah, and also don't think that these teams are all sort of Asian-based as well. There's a lot of influence from the Europeans. They've got a lot of the Ensler team especially has got several European mechanics and engineers. The team itself is effectively a European-based team that have been racing here in Asia, and you'll see that a lot throughout this series. And it's good to see some of the best technicians of these cars from wherever they're actually built coming over to race here in Asia, because it's a great breeding ground, testing ground.
You know why it's a great testing ground? Because A, the championship is proven to be very professionally run, but B, because of the temperature is so hot, it pushes everything here to the limit. So it's a real fantastic place to come and test your car, and you know what to do to make improvements. If it works here, it's going to work everywhere else in the world. So Asia is the perfect spot to come to do that.
6 laps to go then. Good opening round and a good start from Andy Yan. We expected him to get to the front. The big story though, Tin Sri Trai, the young superstar of Thailand, not making it. They changed engines in that Honda Civic overnight, didn't get out to qualifying. Was expecting to come through the field, but literally didn't get a lap in, and straight back into the pits before the race had really got underway.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Andy Yan,
we can be sure that Tin Sri Trai will be down there. The team, whatever that problem is, they need to get back out on track before the end of this race to just get it set up for the race later this afternoon.
Yeah, let's hope he gets out, that's for sure.
He doesn't want to have another replay, because this has cost him in the championship and the PTT team, probably the lead in the championship by the end of this race.
Good showing though by Vitana Motorsport. Of course, they are the local Thai team. So it's a big day for them too, because both Iritipong is up there as well with Jack Lemvar. They are 2nd and 3rd. Henry Ho has moved up to 4th place, so it's good run so far by Henry Ho. A reverse grid though for the 2nd race of the day, so that will change everything. But you've got to get points, and so it's a double-edged sword really. You want to get as many points in each race as possible, but you've got to kind of be wary. Now, warning, exceeding track limits at turn 1, turn 7, turn 11, and turn 12. And that's Bulpon, the local man who definitely knows his way around here. He also knows the limits.
Well,
does he?
I don't know if he does know the limits. Of course, if you go off the track, which is the ripple strip you can see on the right-hand side there with all 4 wheels, and you can see there's a perfect example in the background there, one of the cars just run off. That is what that warning of exceeding track limits is all about. You're not allowed to do that. You've got to keep at least 2 wheels on the racing surface.
We're watching this battle between Souza and Hanjit Katsam. Here he is, number 66.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, isn't he? He's running a good pace. He's in the 47s, which is the same pace that Ho is running. He's high 46s in 4th position, so that's a really good pace for him.
Well, Hanjit Katsam is a man who's raced 2 or 3 years now with the Honda Civic and Super 2000. So very familiar with Thai racing for sure, because the Super 2000 is very much the car that they race here in Thailand, but of course now trying out the TCR. It's going to be a big learning process for him this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
seems to have equipped himself well, getting 3 wheels off the ground, or 1 wheel off the ground there, 3 on. Now, what's going on here? Some super slow-mo. Seat making an attack on Douglas Koo. And through goes the number 66 again, the man we've just been talking about, Natachak.
Of course, he's in the amateur series as well, so he's up for amateur points in this race. So very important to him that he doesn't exceed the track limits and can get to the finish, because he could find himself in the podium of that amateur championship at the end of this race if he continues to drive as smooth and as well as he is.
Gap between Andy Yan and Jack Lemvard. It's still only 1.9, so it's just under 2 seconds. So Jack will be thinking to himself that he's certainly got enough time with 4 laps to go to make up that gap. And it'll also be interesting to see how the Macau driver, Henry Ho, can make an inroad if he can in 4th position.
The issue that Lemvard's got at the moment, though, is that Yan has just put in his fastest lap of the race, a 46.1. All we've got...
great lock up there on the left-hand side, but the super slow-mo really gives you an indication of just how hard. Sometimes these television pictures belie just how hard they're pushing.
Of course, the one thing these cars don't have is ABS or anything like that, so that it's really the driver feel. And when that front goes light, it's very easy to lock the inside left up. And of course, if you do that too much, you flat spot those tyres, and then you lose performance. So they've really got to try not to do that. Drive as smooth as they can.
Yeah, it just shows you how stiff they've got them set up as well, the way the wheels come off the ground. But we've seen it in the international series too. The really good drivers literally drive on 3 wheels, or
Well,
occasionally do.
Absolutely. I mean, it does weight the outside wheel up, which can help you steer as well. So it's not a bad thing. It means that you're on the limit. The last thing you want to be doing is getting the thing sideways everywhere. You really need to drive smoothly, and that's part of the secret of driving one of these TCR cars, and most race cars, in fact, fast.
Well, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Can he be quick enough? He's, as you can see, the gap 1.9 seconds. He crossed the line again. Andy Yan, comfortable. You look at his board now and know that he's got this in the bag if he keeps this up.
Yeah.
3 laps to go. You can see the gap for yourself between first, second, and third. And fourth place, a distant fourth place for Henry Ho. He crosses the line now. Then it's the second Liqui Hensler team entry of Philip Souza. There he is on the number 26. He's still got the attention of number 66, Hanjit Kassam. There he is, going through turn 1. We went round the circuit earlier in the weekend, Steve. What impresses you about it? I like this long straight because it's the obvious place to overtake if you can tuck in, but you've got to be close to be able to make the overtake into this right-hander here.
I love the first thing is the width of the circuit. I mean, it's a really wide circuit. There's plenty of lines, as we've still seen in this race earlier on. 12 very different turns, a lot of braking, overtaking opportunities. The fast turn 4, of course, off the end of the mid-back straight, flat out in these little cars. It's difficult to set the car up for this circuit. The other thing about it is the grip level here. It's a low-level grip, which means that you really do have to drive very smoothly to get the best out of the car and to make that lap time count.
Good battle between Bullpont 77, Koo 65, and Kevin Say in the number 8. That's a battle for the top 10, as you mentioned earlier. Battle here for 8th place. And through he goes. Nicely done.
Yep, Douglas Koo run wide there, but...
Say getting through.
Yep, Say through. Moves up a spot into 8th position, Kevin Say.
Yeah, been impressed by Parapat Bullpont today, as you said, just trying it out really for the first time, and done a good job.
Up the inside goes Say. Lock rear wheel there by Koo, and he made that move quite easy. And Kevin Say just nipped up the inside. Douglas Koo was actually quite wide into that one. He could have probably defended a little bit better there, I think.
2 laps to go for the leaders then. Getting down to the closing stages of round 3, the first race of the weekend here at Buriram circuit. Chang International Circuit at Buriram. Great city, lively city. And they love their motorsport and they love their football. It's a real fantastic sports complex, this. There's all sorts of stuff going on. They've got drag racing, they've even got scooter racing Friday nights going off on Friday night.
Yeah, they certainly know how to have fun here, don't they? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Douglas Koo's got some sort of problem, Jonathan, because he's really dropped off the pace. He's a couple of seconds a lap slower than his fastest lap now, which is, I don't think that it's Kevin C's gone faster. I think it's the fact that Douglas Koo, for one reason or another, has actually dropped off the pace as to why he's moving backwards.
An impressive run though, 146.1, 146.3. He's keeping consistently fast as Andy Yan, and therefore Jack can do nothing about it in second place. He was 0.2 off last time, the gap now up to 2.4 seconds. And Jack, as much as he might try, I don't think he's going to make any inroads. This is a good display of racing by the Volkswagen Liqui entry of Andy Yan. He's been eyeing up a victory for a while as Andy Yan. He looked very, very good right from the get-go last year when he bounced out, but just didn't have the equipment. And then swapped over and joined Volkswagen. And we knew it would come. And Andy Yan pressing hard now. And this is a great opportunity for him because, of course, well, the Liqui team, the Hensler team, leading the championship in the team's championship. But Andy Yan starting today in 3rd position after 2 podiums last time out. He will now lead this championship. Bruno's not taking part, of course, should try, not getting a result out of this. Here we go, an overtake here by the number 8, Kevin So. Pops out in front of Bullpont, the local man, and 3 goes. And that textbook overtake there.
Yep, of course, that puts him up in the 7th position. He's starting to drive well, as very fast towards the end of this race as well. It looks like the Volkswagens can really keep the pace up and are very consistent towards the end of the race. Of course, very professional team, an entry, the Volkswagen Golf here this weekend. All the teams have got great background and knowledge and input, and it's certainly one of the good cars out there.
Well, this has been a brilliant performance so far, and coming down to the closing stages. This is the last lap then, as they go through the infield. And no problems so far for Andy Jan. He's managed and controlled this race brilliantly. And Jack Lembard's driven well, but he just can't make any inroads on him as they come through the S's at the back of the circuit, way, way beyond there, and come towards us here in the grandstand. And those watching getting excited for Andy Jan to take his first victory of 2016 and will now lead the championship. And there's the gap. He did catch it up to Jack at the end, but I think that's probably because Andy Jan knocked it off just at the end there. He'll cross the line now and take the checkered flag. And a win then for Andy Jan. Yep. The local man, Jack Lembard, crosses the line for Thailand in second place. In the end, the gap was 2.7 seconds. Ritipong comes across the line. A good day for Vatana Racing.
Yeah, Ritipong, he did a good job too. He actually closed the gap up to Jack Lembard in second position. So Ritipong is probably one to watch out for next race. Remember, reverse grid next time out, Jonathan.
Yeah, Henry Ho, though, the man moving forward the most. He came from 8th, I think, on the grid. And there is the Ensler team.
Yeah, he actually had Henry Ho had the fastest lap on the last lap, a 46.8 compared to everyone else doing 47. So he certainly did a good last lap, did Henry Ho in 4th position.
So Volkswagen victorious here in Thailand. It's a familiar scene and a familiar sight.
Just the professionalism I find amazing here. That I mean, just. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're not going to find a better prepared or presented car than that Liqui Moly Ensler car, are you?
So then, confirmation of the result from Chang International Circuit here at Buriram. Andy Jan for Volkswagen takes the victory over Jack Lembard, the local man, and it's Thailand in 2nd and 3rd as Narasaki Ritipong takes 3rd place ahead of Henry Ho, who moved right up to 4th place ahead of Philip de Souza. And then Hanjit Kassam, was in 6th place for Thailand. That was a good run, his first run in the series, ahead of Kevin Say, Douglas Koo 8th, and Terence Say in 9th position. And Parat Bulpon, who got all the way up to 4th at one point, dropped down and just finishing inside the top 10. Bill O'Brien, Kenneth Marr, and sadly, no result for Tin Street Try. So the winners come towards the finish, or at least to a stop point in front of the grid, in front of the grandstand. And that is actually where the podium is, to the left-hand side of our shot there, and there you can see the marshals bringing them to a stop.
It's a bittersweet moment now for Andy Jan, isn't it? He's just won the race. He's got to celebrate, but he's got to start from 10th later today.
But, you know, that said, with a standing start as it is, it's not that hard, I don't think, by the end of... I would expect to see him by turn 2, maybe 3, already challenging for a top 5 position if he gets the start, if he gets off the line well.
Absolutely, but the thing is that from here to turn 2, there's a lot of straight and all the cars are the same speed in this class, so it's very, very difficult. But he's certainly going to celebrate at the moment. There he is, he's a happy man.
Well, he's a great character. We spoke to him last night, and really, he's just one of those guys that exudes the love of what he's doing. He's been in this game for 20 years now, and Kurt Muller there, his team boss, very happy with that. Their first win of the year. And there's Jack. Yeah, thumbs up from him. I think, he'll be a little bit disappointed. Well, Tana Motorsport doing a good job, but I think the race was won and lost early, wasn't it?
Well, it certainly was. I mean, he had the pace in qualifying, and you thought he'd be closer than that, but obviously in the race, just like that little bit, but they can go back, look at the data, talk to Jack, see what the problem was, and of course there is that race this afternoon, and he can come back and make amends.
It'll be hotter temperatures again, I'm sure. It's pretty hot already, early morning conditions, but I say early morning, it's mid-morning. Getting on to local time of almost 10:45 here, And by the time these guys race again, certainly the track temperature will have gone up. We are expecting the possibility of thunderstorms later in the afternoon.
Of course, that's Volkswagen needs to be happy as well. It's the first win of the year for them.
Let's go down to Sean Henselwood. He's got the winner.
It's difficult because Jack knows this circuit very well, and he's an experienced driver. So at the beginning of the race, he defends me. I'm not easy to overtake, but at turn 1, he just go slowly at the exit and take the chance and overtake, and I just keep steady, and I need to finish the race, and we make it.
How does it feel to take your first victory in TCR Asia?
I'm very happy. This is my first win in TCR Asia. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Like I said, he's ebullient. I love him. He's great fun. His first win in TCR Asia, he deserves it. And like he said, he explained the race very simply. You know, he took his moment, he took the overtake, and he never looked back after that. But like he says, Jack knows the circuit. He was wary of that, and certainly wasn't relaxing. And you can see just how much out of breath he was and how much effort he's put into that. And great result and a great victory for the Liqui Moly team.
Yeah, of course, the other thing that we haven't talked about is the heat inside the cars.
Right.
You know, it's a very physically demanding and mentally demanding sport, especially in this heat.
Grandstand starting to fill up. A little bit of a breeze. Try to stay cool. Let's head down once again to Sean Henselwood and see who he's got. I think it's Jack Lembard.
Jack, congratulations, second. That looked like hard work. Couldn't quite take it to Andy that time.
No, on the straight, didn't have it enough, so that's it.
Track knowledge was helpful, though. You think you'll be able to give him something in the second race?
We'll try something different, or lower downforce or something like that, but second one is all I can get. I think it was going to be a hard race to be first all the way, but yeah, that's how it goes.
Where did he have the advantage, do you think?
On the straight.
Really?
Yeah, in the corners we were quicker, but afterwards it just couldn't keep him behind, so.
Congratulations. Well done.
Well, Jack, about a few words there. Not happy, obviously, with the overall straight line speed, and I wonder just what they can do. He mentioned downforce there. There's not a lot you can do to adjust this.
Well, they've got the rear wing. They can obviously tilt the rear wing down a bit and take some pressure off the rear of the car, which will make it a little bit more aerodynamic. But other than that, no, it's basically the shape of the car. You know, you've got to try what you can, though, Jonathan.
Yeah, strategy-wise, you might think that he certainly, if that's the case for race 2, he'll certainly be trying to get ahead of him as soon as possible. Here's the championship then. Andy Yan moving to the top of the board. That's why he's so happy. The Hong Kong driver with 69 points now. Tin Sri Trai, who didn't get to try. He was 42 points, so he stays where he is. Bruin's not racing today. Stays in third position with 41. And Henry Ho creeping up the board now with 37 points ahead of Kevin Say. Philip Sousa in 6th. And Jack Lembard already with 21 points after that victory. So he could be, it'd be interesting to see if he has another decent result, Jack, whether he'll stay around and try and stay with us in Asia, because we're going to some great venues. Obviously, we've got more racing to come from China, and it all finishes out at Macau. And that is something that any driver from this Asian series would want to be part of, because it's the creme de la creme for touring cars, without a doubt. The Macau Grand Prix, around the streets of Macau, an opportunity to do that, fantastic.
Absolutely, and just on a driver's point of view, I mean, it's just one of the iconic circuits in the world that you want to tick off your bucket list. So to be able to drive at that circuit, and it's the place where everybody congregates, isn't it? So you want to drive well, that's the place to be. So,
toughest job in the world is that man there, the Michelin man. Wouldn't want to be dressed in a suit today. Tough game, that. Yeah, there you go. Bit of Michael Schumacher for you. That was Michael's classic salute when he got on the podium. Both feet up.
It certainly worked for him, didn't it?
It certainly did. Great character, Andy. And don't forget, that course moves the Ensel team further forward in the teams championship. They'd already started today as the championship leaders, and the Liqui Moly team now will move further ahead of the Viper Nisa and the Team Thailand team. He's got a good fan club. So congratulations. First win of TCR then to Andy Yan, but and like I said, describing the fact that he'd been around last year and had a few outings with the Ford and didn't get to do what he wanted to do, and it's high time he was winning, and it's good to see him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the full package now, and it's all starting to come to fruition, giving the Golf GCI its first win of the year.
So they head back to their pits now, a little bit of look at the data, and I'm sure Jack will be trying to see if he can change the car to give him a little bit more straight line speed, and as you mentioned, he can adjust the wings and try to do something with it. Here are the highlights then of round 3. Amateurs, and Kevin Say in second place, Douglas Koo getting on the podium. He had a dramatic race. He's up there on the podium, so congratulations. Buriram then, throwing up some great racing. My thanks to Steve Martin and Jonathan Green. We will be back with more TCR action later today.